I didn't like Charlie Kirk. Just want to start it off there before people get any ideas. Everybody knows what I'm going to be talking at this point. The event was kind of covered by everybody, and at this point, I wanted to give it some time before I talk about it. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but I think the time is right. It's been a little bit over a week. For anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th when he was attending an event at Utah Valley University. When it first happened and I saw the videos across Twitter of the actual event happening when he got shot, it felt really weird because I felt like I've been desensitized to people's deaths and just horrible things happening in the world. But I was looking at it and I couldn't believe what I saw. As somebody who grew up playing video games, violent video games, watching movies, there's this narrative by the media that when you play these games or when you watch movies, it desensitizes you. Yet I still watched this person get shot, and I was just shocked. The fact that so many people had to witness it, the fact that his wife was allegedly on campus with their 2 kids, it was a real shocking event. And then what came after, it was kind of rich because it was something I talked about in a previous video about how this country turns everything into a circus. The media went into a frenzy from all sides. And I'll put this here on record before somebody waits for me to say some kind of buzzword and then puts me on a team, on a side. I'm not on either side. I'm a centrist. And I know that sucks when people say it because it sounds like they're just sitting on the fence. But in all honesty, it feels like the most sensible thing to do. Because right now, I feel like there's no way to align yourself fully with either side. What was supposed to be a horrible incident that you would imagine make people come together and kind of understand that there's a problem in this country became a thing that started exposing a lot of people. And what was really interesting to see was people like Elon Musk and Andrew Tate, these bastions for freedom of speech, just bring us back to the cancel culture era. I saw people calling for people to get fired, deplatformed. And it was so funny because it was just accounts affiliated with the right side of politics. And I didn't even know what I was watching happening. The internet became a witch hunt. People started celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, which just made the people on the other side call them out, dox them, and then try to get them fired or deplatformed. And then those things started echoing across the internet, and people like Elon Musk started reposting stories, other posts. This guy started getting picked up by Andrew Tate and other channels and accounts. And it was really weird to see because I remember when Elon Musk was buying Twitter, it was because Twitter became the cesspool, taking away people's freedom of speech. It was because people were getting in trouble for things they were saying. Cancel culture was at its peak. And then it felt like we just went back. And it was weird to see it from that side. And I'll also say that I was very surprised on the left too. The amount of people who were celebrating this, it doesn't matter if you hated this guy, if you couldn't stand him, and if you honestly were wishing death on him. I understand, like, emotions get high. People say horrible things, and I think some things he was saying, just to me personally, were horrible. But it's his right to say it. And it was really strange that for some reason we're celebrating people getting shot. But then it's okay because we all come together and say, no, we need to have a conversation and move forward. How can you do that if the minute somebody wants to do that or does that from either side, people get hurt? It was a moment of clarity to me, and which is why I wasn't sure if I wanted to even record this video. I typically try to look at both sides. And like I said, I didn't like Charlie Kirk. I didn't really watch his content. And before people start getting on to me about not knowing him, I actually think that's a strength. I don't care who he was. I don't care what he was saying most of the time. The fact is somebody got killed because of their opinions. Now, the other side of this is you would want people to keep those opinions to themselves and behind closed doors. And then what you're doing is breeding a society of hateful people, but they're doing it behind closed doors. And they're very sneaky. I've always advocated, I hope everybody who is a horrible person, fly your colors, get your flags out. I want to know exactly who you are. I don't want to play this mind game. Tell me exactly who you are, and then I'll avoid you. Free country, we could do whatever we want. It was weird seeing these buzzwords. It all came back to freedom of speech, and then we started the whole debate again. You know, is it because the guy was sick, Tyler Robinson? Is it because he was sick? Is it because he could get a gun easily? And the truth is, there's a mixture of both of those things. I hear people all the time saying guns don't kill people, people kill people. And there's truth in that as well, which is why this is such a topic that's not black and white. If everything was very black and white, we would have found solutions to this. But unfortunately, it's not. I think we've lost the plot as people. You know, it's actually kind of funny how a week prior to that, or actually 2 weeks, we had the Ukrainian girl die. And, you know, I feel like most people agreed that it was a person killing another person. Yeah, some people took the whole race bait and all that stuff. And then this happens, and you're thinking, wow, 2 events back to back. Like, there's clearly a problem here. And instead, people turn this into a circus. I don't know. I can't imagine what his wishes would have been. You know what I mean? I don't know how he was with his personal friends, but it started feeling like everybody started using this as a platform to, like, get their views up. They started talking about it nonstop. And I'm not talking about just recording a video like I am here. I mean, it was going on every program. And then I saw people co-hosting his show, which, again, like, if that is what he would have wanted, then cool. It just, to me, it felt like this was a moment where people are going to use this event to get themselves up a little bit. And I honestly don't want to think that, but I've been conditioned to feel this way, because every time something happens, all we see is posts, hashtags, little videos, and no change happens. What do you want me to think? Do you really think that all these leaders and all these public figures are actually trying to push for some kind of change? They're not. Nothing happens. Ever. God forbid another person gets hurt somewhere, another incident, and what? We're back to square one. Everybody's saying the same exact thing. At the end of the day, it was somebody losing their life because of their opinions. And if you're somebody who didn't like Charlie Kirk or what he was saying, what he was promoting, you're only doing your side a disservice by being happy about this, because you're essentially saying it's better to just be fully silenced. Instead of hoping that this person's opinions can change and then he can change opinions of other people, we go back to just, let's silence people because it's easier that way. We get emotional, we get angry, and we just think that the best thing to do is close the door. We lost the plot. It's sad that we see other people dying and we think that that's fine. And it sucks that we use the death of other people to push our own narrative. That's just like, I understand that that's what always happened. And it's a shame that there's no real change since all those moments, you know. This isn't the first person who was active in politics to get assassinated. Probably won't be the last, unfortunately. But I also think I've heard a lot of people get upset when somebody says that he had it coming or what was he expecting. I get that. From the bat, it sounds very distasteful, but my question is this. We witnessed over the last year and a half the president almost getting killed twice, right? We've witnessed countless stories of school shootings. We all agree as people that, unfortunately, there are people out there who are not getting the help they need if they're having mental problems, whatever it may be, and then they have access to weapons. They will do something stupid. We can all agree on this. And then you have somebody who's challenging people. And it's always politics too. And again, it sucks that we got to this point, because I would love nothing more than for all of these people to go out and talk to college students, talk to people. But now, I think the landscape is going to change. And I know, and I've seen people on the right talk about how innocent Charlie Kirk was. Listen, I've seen countless videos titled Charlie Kirk destroys liberal on campus. When you title your videos that, you're not trying to start a conversation. You're clickbaiting to some extent, but you're not there because you're just like, hey, I just want to chat and understand you. Not always, right? It's easy right now to be a grifter and to be like, if I sat here and just started spewing crazy shit about politics, I would get way more views and way more traction. But I'm not going to do that because I'm a real human being. So I'm sure some of that was a little theatrics from Charlie and a lot of these other people. I've seen Destiny go on these campuses, Ben Shapiro, Myron Gaines, and I'm almost positive most of them are going to feel different now going there. I don't know if it's security. I don't know what has to happen, but unfortunately, that's the situation we got ourselves in. And it's only going to get worse because we are just driving the divide further between people. And it's because everything became tribal. You have to be on some kind of team. When you get older and more politically aware, people ask you, what side are you on? Which is just really weird, because why do you have to be on a side? Why can't you have things that you agree on both sides? We are so complex as human beings, yet it feels like everybody and everything is trying to make you this like one-dimensional thing that you're supposed to think one way or another. Like, there's no in between. There's no back and forth. And it dives deeper into cancel culture, which is some problem I've had with it, which is you're not letting people grow. You're not letting people change. It's just, I don't understand where we go from here. And it feels weird. It feels like you're in some kind of, like, I hate using this word, but it feels like this weird simulation because you don't understand why are both sides so insane. I don't think it's weird to look at this situation as like a horrible thing that happened. A person got killed in front of other people. Like, that shouldn't happen to anybody. And listen, I get the whole little tribal mentality, you know, if you're watching a movie or a sports event and the enemy team or whatever suffers some kind of blowback, an injury or something, you kind of cheer. You're like, oh yes, they're not going to have this player. But it's weird when you're doing that when people are dying. And we're just losing the ability to self-reflect, that's the worst part about all of it. We're supposed to grow as people. Regardless of who you are, we're on this planet together. We're in this country together. We're in this community together. And nobody wants to act like that way. People want to keep acting like everybody's so different. I get this sounds like I'm just this neutral party. I'm not. I think what happened was horrible. And I think and to be honest, I think people who are cheering it, although it's disgusting, they should be allowed to. That's freedom of speech. You should be able to express your opinions. This brings us to the whole Jimmy Kimmel thing. Jimmy Kimmel said some comments right after, I think it was maybe a few days after Kirk's death. And he criticized MAGA, he criticized Trump, and then everybody went on this tirade. Disney decided to cancel the Jimmy Kimmel show. People lost their minds over that as well. And then today it hit on September 22nd that Jimmy Kimmel's coming back because people started canceling subscriptions. They started a big fuss over it. And I just want whoever's watching this to understand one thing. These companies don't care about your politics. They don't care about you as a person. That's just what it is. There's a reason why when it's Pride Month, and in these countries where we support Pride, they'll change their logos. And then you go to Saudi Arabia and they don't mention Pride at all. These companies don't care. The only thing they care about is their bottom line. That's the way they brought Jimmy Kimmel back. You think they brought him back because they reflected and they were like, oh, you know what? That was actually not the right thing to do. They brought him back because people started canceling shit. Because people started hitting them in their pockets. They felt it in their wallets. So just understand, if you're on the left or on the right and you think these companies react to you and that means they support you, no, it doesn't. These companies don't care. They align themselves with whichever administration's in power, whoever's calling the shots as at the time, and that's it. So it's up to us to make decisions, to be aware, and to seek the truth. You can't rely on these companies. You can't rely on these billionaires who have no idea what it's like to be you. You as a person are supposed to look at something happening, and you don't have to wait for Trump to say something. You don't have to wait for Kamala Harris to say something. You have to know how you feel. And honestly, if you felt good that he died, it's your right. But in my opinion, it's just strange because everybody always associates the left with this like soft, lovey-dovey side, all inclusive, and then you're cheering death. How does that make any sense? And this is the worst part. When the pendulum swings the other way, and it will, don't expect the other side to react any different. And if your response is, well, I only feel this way because they do that, so what? You want to be no better than the other side? I don't understand this. And I've come to realize a long time ago that it doesn't matter how old you are. The older we get and align ourselves with teams, we just become as childish as we've ever been before. We get emotional. We don't want to look at the truth. We don't want to search for anything. We just wait for somebody to say something to affect how we feel. And that's what happened. And like I said, I started this video with that I didn't like Charlie Kirk because I didn't care about this guy. I wasn't watching his stuff. I've occasionally heard something he says, and I just move on with my life. If you're chronically on the internet, first, get off. Second, how are you not used to this at this point? Everything's rage bait. Everything. When they post these videos destroying liberals, destroying conservatives and stuff like that, it's just to get people's reactions out there. I think everybody agrees that we should have conversations. And I'm not talking about conversations that are used to clickbait people to click on your video. I'm talking about real conversations because there's things that we all want. We all want to live a happy life. We all want to afford things, to want our kids to grow up in safe area, economically stable. Everybody wants that. It's just we start getting in between when people's like personal opinions about like religion, race, and all that stuff comes between. And then if that's really the problem, then let's actually have a conversation. It's genuinely sad. I hate recording videos like this because, like I said, it feels like you get nowhere. There are people who watch this and they've heard something I've said and ignored everything else and aligned me with one side or the other. And totally honest, I don't care. You know what I mean? I genuinely hope that at some point we'll get somewhere as a society where we can agree, disagree, and people don't have to constantly get shot. People started trying to find reasons for why this happened, and was this kid a left? Was he a right? What did he identify as if any of that matters. Why? Because you feel like, okay, he subscribed to this person, so what, you think everybody like that is over there? No, obviously the kid had problems. Anybody who does something like this has problems. I've hated people, political people, and I've never sat there wishing death on them. And I would never do something like that. Like, that's because something has to be not right in your head for you to do something like that. And it was weird. But like I said, it's a free country, so people can post whatever they want. The part that was really strange to me was just how the cancel culture became a part of the right and a part of people who were against it in the beginning. And now all of a sudden they turned everything into a witch hunt. I couldn't believe it. I was watching Twitter and I was just like, how is this real? I was watching Piers Morgan and people would get on and talk about like how these people got to be stopped and it's this and it's that. And it's like, geez, man, the guy died like a week ago, a few days ago before those videos went out. Like, just wait, calm down, assess the situation, and then talk. This is going to sound rich coming from me, but the problem with everybody having a voice is that they don't understand who's listening. When you become a prominent figure, you have to watch what you say because you can influence people. You have to be careful. You have an obligation. If you have 1 million people subscribe to you, you're no longer a guy who's like, oh, I don't care, like, people just watch me. No, it's done. Like, you've chosen this life and you have to be careful what you're doing. And this goes to the same political people. Charlie Kirk is not the first or last person to be killed because of political reasons. This is just the reality, and it's going to happen, and it has happened before. And the problem is because we keep dividing people. People feel alienated. They feel like that this is the only thing they can do because of just how hurt they feel. And that's not right. Hopefully whoever is watching this understands. And, I'd totally be down. I read all the comments and I answer comments all the time. I'll be totally down to have a conversation about this. If you disagree with me, God bless. Let's talk about it. If you have your own opinion about this whole situation, about, how people react, why they should be canceled or why they shouldn't, let me know as well. I'm totally curious. Like I said, I've given this time because I just wanted to see what the, landscape is going to look like after everything just died down a little bit. It felt to me just like people were using his name on both sides to get views, to get clicks. And it's weird. He had kids, he had a wife, he had parents. Like, how many of you have uncles or grandfathers or dads who share like crazy opinions from your own? The whole point is like, you have conversations. Hopefully you change their mind, right? That's the battle. That's the journey for truth. You talk to people. When you read somebody who changed as a person because they started seeing things differently, it's a beautiful story. Everybody deserves a chance to change, to grow, to learn. And you doing something horrible or wishing, to silence them, you're just preventing growth. It doesn't make you look good. It just fuels the other side. And that's the other thing that always confuses me when it comes like a right versus left. They just fuel each other. They just keep doing the dumbest shit and then fueling the other side. And it's the obvious shit too. I don't know. Hopefully this wasn't like me rambling. I'm gonna try to cut it down, make it short. I just wanted to share some thoughts about this. Love to your mothers. And yeah, hopefully I'm not gonna be doing these videos for long. Not these ones. I don't want to take this down a political way, but people like the other one. So maybe your boy got some points to make, Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, dislike. Share it. Let me know how you feel. Talk to yous later.